Hey guys, welcome back to the Theory Lesson Series. In this video we're going to expand on the concept of intervals. So in the previous video we were looking at the intervals from within a major scale, so from the root up to each successive note in the scale. We were specifically looking at C major, so C up to D being a major second, C up to E being a major third, C up to F being a perfect fourth, so on through the remainder of the scale. So in this video we're looking specifically at thirds, and in the key of D major and G major. We're going to do those on specific string sets, and I'll add notes about other string sets as well as we're going along in that, but I'm saying that they're in the key of D major and G major, but when you're playing just two notes, you are suggesting a harmony or a chord, but those two notes can belong to multiple chords. Not simultaneously, but it has the potential. A double stop or a dyad has the potential to belong to several chords. For instance, if I play D and F sharp, it's a major third. That could belong to a D major chord. It could belong to a B minor chord. So this is just one way to think about it. Right? I want you to remember that, but it's a very handy way to think about it because it relates to chord shapes, and we're thinking about it specific to a major key, which hopefully we're getting more familiar with at this point. So we have ways to link it up to information that we already know. So let's start with D major. So to give you a little bit of a visual here, I'm just going to run through a couple of chords in a D major scale. So the first chord would be D major, and we're going to keep on using the D shape. So the second chord would be E minor, the third chord would be F sharp minor, the fourth chord would be G major. So if we look at the top two notes that we're playing in those individual chords, we have these individual shapes. I'm on the third fret of string 2 and the second fret of string 1, D and F sharp, relating to the D major chord. And then I have string 2 fret 5 and string 1 fret 3, E and G, as part of the E minor chord. And then I have F sharp and A, fret 7 on string 2 and fret 5 on string 1. And that could relate to an F sharp minor chord. That's the way that we're thinking about it. So, one, if you're familiar with the notes, then that's definitely something to utilize. But another thing to use as you're going through this exercise is visualizing the chord shapes. Then you'll start to get comfortable with the intervals that exist inside of chords, and it's just going to expand your knowledge of the guitar neck. The first thing you do typically to kind of expand the ground that you can travel across the neck are bar chords, but bar chords are so big that they just kind of look like this one single entity, but we can break those up into 2-3 strings like we are here with these thirds. So remember that, try to visualize the chords. Let's jump into this. So we're starting off with D and F sharp right there. I'm going to go from string 2 to 1, that's fret 3 and fret 2, and then fret 5 and fret 3, and then fret 7 and 5 on string 1, and then fret 8 on string 2, fret 7 on string 1, then fret 10 on string 2 and 9 on string 1, and then string 2 fret 12, string 1 fret 10, string 2 fret 14, string 1 fret 12, and then 15 and 14, which is our octave of D major. So let me run through that again. 3 and 2, 5 and 3, 7 and 5, 8 and 7, 10 and 9, 12 and 10, 14 and 12, 15 and 14. So you should be hearing a major scale scale in there. It's a harmonized major scale. If I just played the notes that I'm playing on string 2, you'll hear a D major scale. That's another thing to visualize, right? We're basically just moving in that whole step, half step pattern of the major scale. So the most immediate takeaway with this is just what the interval is on the guitar. So when we're on strings 2 and 1, this shape of them being adjacent frets, like in this scenario with a D major chord, fret 3 to fret 2, that's a major third. When it opens up and they're 2 frets apart, like this for the E minor chord, 5 to 3, that's minor. So adjacent frets, major, and 2 frets apart, minor. That would be the immediate takeaway, just so you can say, okay, I know what a major third and minor third are on strings 1 and 2. Now, if there's some kind of progression going in D major, I'm just doing a 1-4-5 progression. This is filler material. People always ask me, students ask me, how can I put licks or riffs in between chords? You do have to think about the timing and what the structure of the chord progression is that you're writing, but this is great material to use because they're easy to move around, they're harmonies, and they sound good. They're not cluttered. You only have 2 notes. You're not trying to move an entire bar chord. So that gives you a lot of melodic and harmonic material combined because it's easy to move around, but it's still suggesting chords. So we won't get into that whole discussion about what chord it could actually be because, like I said before, it depends on what you're playing over. The underlying foundational harmony is always going to guide the answer to that, right? You can't just say, well, these 2 notes belong to this chord every time. It just doesn't work that way. So it takes time to absorb information that way and to be able to apply it to different scenarios, but just think about it from this one angle of key of D major and learning your notes on strings 1 and 2, D and F sharp, E and G, F sharp and A, G and B, A and C sharp, B and D, C sharp and E, D and F sharp. That's another little exercise that you can run through. Okay, so now the reason we're going to do G major is because that's going to take us to string set 3 and 2, and we're picking keys where we can start low on the neck and work our way up till we have plenty of space to play a full scale. But on string set 3 and 2, because of the interval between the 3rd and the 2nd string based on standard tuning, that is a major third. So that's our first interval for a harmonized G major scale in thirds. G to B is a major third. Then our next set is going to be string 3 fret 2, string 2 fret 1, A and C. Slide that up 2 frets. String 2 fret 4, or string 3 fret 4, string 2 fret 3, B and D. Then when we have, just like with the open strings where it's like 0, 0, when we run into that situation when we have to fret, we're going to have finger 2 on string 3 and finger 3 on string 2. I'm on fret 5 and 5. That's C and E. I'm going to slide that up 2 frets, D and F sharp on fret 7. Same fingering there, finger 2 on string 3, finger 3 on string 2. And then I slide up 2 frets. I'm on string 3 fret 9 and string 2 fret 8. Slide that same shape up 2 frets and I'm on 11 and 10. And then I'm at my octave here at the 12th fret, which should be double dots on your guitar. That's always the octave. We came from open to the 12th fret. Walking back down, this is 12, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 5, 5, 4, 4-3, 2-1, open, open. So if we're thinking about that relative to chords, G major, A minor, or specifically in the key of G major, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, G major. And then the notes would be GB, AC, ED, CE, D F sharp, EG, F sharp A, and G and B again at the octave. So same scenario here. If you have some kind of progression in G major, you could even make a progression with just the thirds there, right? You don't even necessarily have to have a full chord to start it out. You know, riffs are created that way all the time. So the big takeaway on this string set is a major third. We're going to be pressing down the same fret on string 3 and 2. Right? So they're right on top of one another. A minor third, they're going to be staggered one fret apart, which differs from string set 2-1. So here, we'll do this in 5th position here. So on string set 2-1, major is 1 fret apart, minor is 2 frets apart, whereas on string set 3 and 2, major is same fret, and minor is 1 fret apart. Right? So that is the only string set where it's going to be same fret and then 1 fret apart. Every other string set is going to be the same as 2-1. So if I came to string set 4 and 3, it'd be 1 fret apart, 2 frets apart, major third, minor third. Same thing on string set 5-4, 1 fret apart, major third, 2 frets apart, minor third, and string set 6-5, 1 fret apart, major third, 2 frets apart, minor third. Those are great intervals to know. I mean, they are how we build our chords, and they sit nicely on the guitar. They're easy to control. I think they're relatively easy to see once you get used to playing them, and it just gives you so much more material to add into your playing as far as whether you're thinking about comping, being a rhythm player, or incorporating it into lead. It works both ways. So it can really expand your chops and just your understanding of connecting shapes and just creating more linkages to things that you already understand. So I challenge you to maybe determine a key to use for string set 6 and 5, and then string set 5 and 4, and 4 and 3, just the way we did for 2-1 and 3-2. If there's a lot of requests for it, if this video gets popular, then I can make another video for 6 and 5, 5, 4, and 4-3, and we can talk about that in a specific way. But this will give you plenty of material to work on for now. So let me know if you have any questions, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.